In Arkansas, one person is dead and more than 24 people were hit by gunfire, including very small children, in a shooting outside of a car show. News Nation.
28 people, and we know about these ratios, man. So we know who did this, man. Anytime there's a ratio like this, man. And thank God, man. Thank God it's like that. Could you imagine if Sunmen were marksmen and archers? You ever watch archery in the Olympics? You're never going to see a Sunman in that competition, man. Skeet shooting. You're never going to see a Sunman in that. None of that stuff, man. I've been watching the Olympics. I'm an avid Olympic fan, man. You never see no Sunman in none of that stuff, man. Precision, man. We talk about precision, and we already covered that on live stream on Tuesdays and Fridays, 9:30 p.m. on Oc Nation TV. Link is in the description box. We already covered precision. Precision is not our strong suit, man. Just isn't, man. Well, thank God, man. 29 people shot. One dead. Oh. Thank God.
Arkansas, one person is dead and more than 24 people were hit by gunfire, including very small children, in a shooting outside of a car show. News Nation reporter Claire Kreitz joins us now from Arkansas with the latest on this tragedy.
Yeah, good morning, Adrian. The search continues for the two people police believe are responsible for the worst mass shooting in Arkansas history. Here's what we know so far. It all happened in this parking lot. A total of 28 people were shot at the Hoodnick Festival, a car show organizers say was meant to promote nonviolence. One person...
You can't make this stuff up, man. Programs do not work. Nothing works. Again, I repeat, nothing works. Even the media trying to think about it. 29 people were shot at one event. They're looking for the two suspects. We're, a minute into this piece, and we haven't seen a picture of the suspects. We haven't even seen the name, because if we get the name, we don't even need to see a picture. If these were glacier gliders, the first thing we would have seen was their picture. We would have heard about some kind of uptick in right-wing nationalism or some kind of, hate or something dealing with this is been emboldened, this is attributed to this, and they're out there doing this all the time, and this is the biggest, and this shows that, the rhetoric, and all this crap. They would have led with the two guys' pictures if this was some gliders. I don't even think they would have got off the scene if they were some gliders. Hit one if you ever remember. Because, all the glider shootings have been like wall-to-wall coverage for like a week on all the major networks. As far as the mass shootings. I can't remember one that even got off the scene. One that they was on the hunt for, looking for him. It was a manhunt for days. I can't remember one that got off the scene. I can't remember one that got away from the scene. Brother, it's like 100 mass shootings this year already. It was like 600 last year where they didn't have no suspect in custody. Literally about 600 last year. Sunmen. Mass shootings. They ain't had nobody in custody for me. Some cities had 30, 40. Cities alone. Philly, Chicago. Houston. Other cities had 20, 10. You had your Baltimores, your Milwaukee's, your St. Louis's, your Birmingham's, your New Orleans, your Dallas. Nobody in custody. Nobody know nothing. Can you please turn yourself in? We call on the community. When it's a glacier glider, man, he don't make it off the scene, man. They get him immediately, man.
A car show organizers say was meant to promote nonviolence. One person was killed. Police have identified him as 23-year-old Cameron Schaefer. At least 5 children were shot. All were under the age of 11. The youngest, just 19 months old. So far, police do have one person in custody, but they say that is not one of the shooters. Investigators say they believe it all started with an argument.
The bottom line on this is just 2 individuals got in a gunfight.
That better not be y'all chief, man. Kool-Aid man better not be y'all chief, man. They couldn't get a uniform. They couldn't get a uniform in his size, man. He just gotta wear regular clothes. That better not be y'all chief, man. This the colonel right here, Bill Bryant, man. That better not be y'all chief, Dumas, Arkansas, man. Oh, right it, man. Dumas, Arkansas, man. 62.7. Woo! Woo! Good. Woo! Man. It's sunny out there, Jack. 62.7. Now, they only have about 5,000 people. My God. Woo! And yes, we have to announce, man. And yes, man. The Dumas, Arkansas police chiefs. The police chief is Kevin Finch, man. Our buddy right here, man. Listen, man. Look, Kev, man, you got a rough job, man. Maybe eating is a coping mechanism, man. It helps him deal with the stress of being a police chief in a 62.7% jurisdiction, man. However you got to cope, big bro, man. Do your thing, man. I'm not judging you, man. I'm not judging you, man. Whatever it takes to cope, man. Whatever it takes to get through the day, man. Do what you gotta do, bro.
The bottom line on this is just 2 individuals got in a gunfight. It was no mass shooting intended on this. It was 2 individuals who got in a gunfight, exchanged gunfire, and unfortunately, We had multi-victims of the shooting incident.
Now, we did ask police if the shooters knew each other beforehand, but they say it's too early in the investigation to know. Police also don't believe this shooting was gang-related. They also say that nothing happened before this car show to indicate anything like this could have ever happened. Adrienne, back to you.
Can I ask?
Well, that's not really true. Claire or Cruz, whoever your name is. The time is 62.7%. That's what happened to let you know that. That's what indicated that something like this would happen.
Police also don't believe this shooting was gang-related. They also say that nothing happened before this car show to indicate anything like this could have ever happened. Adrienne, back to you.
Can I ask you a really quick question, even though it's not scripted? Can I ask you, is this a farming community?
Yeah,
I think that's what's most surprising.
it is. It is a small community. Yeah, it is a farming community, very small, about 5,000 people. And again, nothing like this has ever happened in the town of Dumas.
An update from state police just a couple of hours ago. Investigators now say 27 people were shot, and that includes 23-year-old Cameron Schaefer. The Jacksonville man died at the Dumas hospital.
Cameron Schaefer, man. I thought that was a glider, man. Like, man, they did knocked off a glider, man, by accident, man. This Cameron Schaefer, man. Dang, man. Dang, man. I swore that was a glider, man.
23-year-old Cameron Schaefer. The Jacksonville man died at the Dumas hospital.
We also know 5 kids were shot, ranging in age from 19 months to 11 years old. You can hear from the family of one of the kids shot on THV11.com right now. In the meantime, police are still actively looking for who was involved in the gunfight that left innocent people in the crossfire. One person is in custody currently on unrelated charges. Today, Dumas Mayor Flora Simon told us in a statement the city is looking and working through this tragedy.
Yeah, she is commending police and other first responders, even regular citizens who jumped into action, including THV 11's Jay Jackson has more on what the city is doing to try and heal.
So Mayor Simon says this incident is not reflective of the city of Dumas. She calls her community hardworking and proud, and she says she's not going to let this situation affect their unity. She's also offering counseling services for anybody in need. The Street Mentors of Dumas and the Hood Nick Foundation are also planning a support system session for young people on April 9th, featuring mental health professionals. People can also contact Purple Wings Counseling Services, which is local here in Dumas, to schedule virtual sessions for families. I spoke with many people in Dumas tonight who says there's a lot to still unpack here.
It was real surprising to me, that it happened like that.
I wished it hadn't happened.
Oh, anything be better than what it is right now.
If you need immediate help or extra support during this time, you can call this number on your screen, 1-800-273-825-5, or text HOME to 741741 to speak to a crisis counselor. Now, state police is still investigating this situation, and they've set aside a phone number for anybody who may have witnessed or have any other injuries to reach out and call for help. We'll have that on THV11.com.
Hey, Jade, I heard you mention victims there, a lot of numbers that are going around. What are state police saying? Could there be more victims out there who were shot and left the scene Saturday night?
Well, we're not entirely sure, but state police, again, just wants to make sure that any shooting victims who may have left with injuries come forward just so they can be accounted for. Reporting live out here in Dumas, Jade Jackson, THV 11 News.
Jade, thank you. Still looking for suspects as well. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
On the microphone, we had a rapper performing, and he was getting them hype and ready, and the shots started ringing out. And everybody had to take over.
Okay, so a rapper was performing when this happened. That's a huge nugget right there that was, left out of early reports. That's basically That's the lead, man. A rapper was performing. So Dumas got a rapper, man. That's probably why the guys was from Jacksonville was there, man. Probably was the rappers from Florida came up there, man. Okay, thanks, sister. You solved the case, man. This was hip hop related, man. I mean, what else supposed to happen when, rap is involved, man?
On the microphone, we had a rapper performing, and he was getting them hype already, and the shots started ringing out, and everybody had to take over.
A total of 28 individuals have been identified as victims of gunfire. 5 of the victims, and maybe possibly 6, we're still trying to verify, were children.
A terrible tragedy in small-town Arkansas, a mass shooting during a car show down in Dumas on Saturday, leaving 1 person dead and dozens others recovering. The smallest victim, just 1-year-old. This morning, we are going to take a closer look at what happened and how this community is trying to move forward. And good morning from Dumas. It's a quiet Monday morning here in Dumas, far different from what happened on Saturday night. It was an event that was filled with friends and family. It was supposed to be just another fun Saturday night in March. Instead, obviously a very different situation down here in Dumas with a shooting that has left nearly 30 people injured and 1 man dead. We are going to discuss this incident at great detail coming up, but first we're going to send things back to Amanda and Scott in Little Rock.
We have a small community, a farming community in Dumas, 5,000 people. And then we have an incident of multi-victims. It's just, you don't expect that from small town Arkansas.
So again, all this event happening on Saturday night. Here on Monday morning, what we know right now, there was 1 person arrested on Saturday night, but those were with unrelated charges. So Dumas Police and Arkansas State Police still looking for 2 shooters that have not been captured yet. But we want to talk about all these folks who were just here on a Saturday to have a good night with their family. These victims were different, from different ages to different areas here from around Southeast Arkansas. But we're talking about one in particular that these kids were not expecting to be in such a situation. Now, as for these victims, many of them were treated at area hospitals here in Southeast Arkansas, but some of the youngest victims were flown all the way back to Children's in Little Rock. Now, the youngest victim, he was just a year old, Angelo Ussery. Now, his family actually shared video and pictures with us. You can see it's just heartbreaking to see him this way. Now, he is still in the hospital this morning. We actually got to talk to his father on Sunday, who tells us he learned that the chaos had been going on and that his son was actually hurt.
When I heard the gunshots, I just thought, people were shooting in the air, so I jumped in my car and I was leaving out of Dumas until I got a phone call from my son's mom saying that my son been shot.
So he's somewhere. Gunshots go off. His kid is there. He just leaves. Hey, man. And listen, man, I'm trying to figure out, it may have been some extenuating circumstances. Maybe he didn't know his kid was there. I hope that's what it is, man. Yeah.
When I heard the gunshots, I just thought, people were shooting in the air, so I jumped in my car and I was leaving out of Dumas until I got a phone call from my son's mom saying that my son been shot.
So again, his father tells us Angelo had surgery yesterday and had a bullet wound about the size of a quarter in his leg. And of course, they are praying for him to make a full recovery. Again, this was all such a shock to the Southeast Arkansas community, and they want this violence to end. They never wanted it to begin in the first place. But then on Sunday, the day after the shooting, a lot of people got together and wanted to raise awareness to say this is not who we are down here in Southeast Arkansas. This is a wonderful community full of wonderful people, and they want this violence to end as soon as possible. Now, there was actually a prayer vigil down here on Sunday as well. Many people coming together here in Dumas to release balloons and do as much.
It's terrible sad, man. when you see stuff like this, man, they got rappers, balloon releases. This town's going to crap, man. It might be too late, man. Turn it around.
In Dumas to release balloons and do as much as they could to say that this type of event is not who we are. In fact, they talked about how special that Hoodnick event was, and the foundation was the one that actually hosted that balloon release on Sunday to honor those victims. And we talked with a couple of members of that organization, and they said that Hoodnick just promotes nonviolence, and they absolutely hate to see this type of incident happen. Just take a listen.
For people to come and commit the crime that had nothing to do with here, for those babies to be hurt, to do it in front of our elders, or, those kids, our grandparents, pregnant women, everybody, they had no regards to anybody's life. But everybody knows everybody, so imagine the victims, it impacted all of us.
And she said it there, it impacts all of them. They continue to say, organizers of the committee saying that they're trying to reach out personally to each of these victims. And I was able to listen to them a little bit on Sunday as well. They want to reach out and make sure that every single one of these people that was affected by this horrible incident can actually be reached out and talked to, and understand that they know what they're going through, and they understand it's such a tough situation. So again, a lot of people down here in Dumas and really this entire Southeast Arkansas area still in shock about what happened. And quite frankly, a lot of folks are just trying to put the pieces together, figure everything else. And we just want you to hear from some of these amazing heroes who did everything they could, these first responders that were immediately available to help all of these folks out.
And we had one guy that got hurt, and he let the kids and the women go before him getting waited on. And he is a hometown hero. His name is Steven, but he did amazing. He let everybody go in front of him. He just wanted to make sure that the women and the babies were taken care of first. And he's amazing for that.
Man, that's usually how it works in every country, in every stand, in every nation, every emirate, every republic. Women and children go first, man. Why does Sun Man get credit for doing what everybody do, man? That's the rules, man. Women and children get out first, man. That's like an international thing. That ain't even like something that's like regional. That's not even cultural. Hey, man, it's a war, man. Bullets is flying around, man. Women and children get out first. Ain't that... But I guess what we saw with the Ukraine, I mean, Sun Man was trying to get out to Ukraine before the women and children. Sun Man was complaining that the Ukraine wouldn't let them out before they let their own women and children out. So I guess you got to get a Sun Man pat on the back for doing what, like, just every single country does every single time there's something like this going on. Salute, bro.
And we had one guy that got hurt, and he let the kids and the women go before him getting waited on. And he is a hometown hero. His name is Steven, but he did amazing. He let everybody go in front of him. He just wanted to make sure that the women and the babies were taken care of first. And he's amazing for that.